What's going on, YouTube? Just had me a nice little dinner. Headed out to do a little evening ride. Gonna see what we can get into. There's my nice little have this little conversation here. What's going on, YouTube? Just having me a nice little dinner. Going to try to get out here, get a little riding in. It's been a beautiful day today. I've been riding on and off all day today. Just wanted to have a conversation about the channel and introduce myself a little bit more than I have. You know, sometimes you put your helmet on and it feels crooked. Is that just me? Probably got crooked ears. Makes my helmet fit funny. Alright, so if you've not been to the channel before, welcome to the channel. Dirtybike Mike. This is my dirty bike, and I'm Mike. Go ahead and ask you real quick and in a hurry. If you don't care, if you like what you see, like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up. We'll go from there. I'm driving into the sun, so I really hope this is not problematic. I guess I'll know when I go to edit. Excuse me. So I started this channel, I guess it's been a couple of months ago now, and I'm running into the normal learning curves. I actually tried to do this video and have it post this past Wednesday. I lost all my content that I recorded and didn't get to post it, so redoing it. I think I had one of those GoPro things happen where, you know, it turns off randomly and it stopped recording everything, and I didn't get any of the stuff I wanted to get. So I've been riding motorcycles since I was 20-ish years old. 20, I believe, is when I bought the first bike. It was a Honda Shadow 750 Spirit. That was a fun bike. Learned how to ride on it. I went from that to a sport bike. Love the sport bikes. Obviously, they're fast. They're sexy for what they are. Not going to take away from that. The love started to build for the Harley, right? And my first Harley was, oh Lord, what year was that? It was a 2001. It was a 2001 Ultra Classic. Loved that thing. But I did not know how to ride good enough to ride a 1,000-pound motorcycle back then. I made a lot of mistakes. even though I had rode cruisers before, I was used to riding a cruiser that didn't have, I mean, it was a 750, but it didn't weigh as much. And then I went to sport bikes which had great brakes and weighed nothing, and so they would stop really well. And then I went to a 1,000-pound motorcycle that does not stop on a dime, and I had to learn. I wrecked that one. I actually wrecked that one a couple of times, and ended up going from that one to a 2010 Ultra Classic. And everybody was like, why do you got the grandpa bike? Well, I got the grandpa bike because it was comfy. And, you know, your wife or your girlfriend can ride with you on them. And they're not screaming at you the whole time because their butt hurts. So, that's why I got that bike. That 2010 done me really well. That's when I actually fell in love with riding longer distances, because that was the first time I took a long distance trip on a motorcycle, and I took it to Key West. That was an amazing ride. I loved that ride so much. Had a blast in Key West. I took it to Key West 2 different times. I don't remember which one was first. One time I trailered it halfway, and we took it out of the trailer somewhere that my buddy knew, and we left the trailer and rode the bikes the rest of the way down. And then the other time we rode the whole way. We left out of here, I want to say we rode from here to there in January. We left out of here, it was pouring rain, and it was cold as hell. And we just ended up getting down there, warmed up along the way, but I was sore when I got there. It was good times, good memories. I stopped at a place, I couldn't tell you the name of the place. I probably couldn't even find it again. And I've looked for it since, because I've rode down there a few times since. But we stopped at this place, and they said that they were known to be the best key lime pie in the Keys. And come to find out, I guess this key lime pie is on the, or at that time was on the front cover of the brochure for the Florida Keys. So that was pretty cool. It was some damn good key lime pie. So from there, wrecked that bike, totaled it. Still learning how to ride the heavy bikes, right? I probably should have took a course, but I didn't. Learned the hard way, the stubborn way. Sold that one and ended up buying a wrecked 07 Street Glide. I rebuilt it thinking I was going to buy it. So what I wanted to do was buy it because it was wrecked, and I got a pretty good deal on it. I think I paid $3,000 for it, and it had been hit in the rear end. And then in the midst of getting hit in the rear end, you know, the bike does crazy things when they get hit. So the front end was messed up, but the frame itself was in fairly good shape, except for the rear where the saddlebags mount. I had to do some gentle caressing with a hammer back there. But the reason I wanted it that way was because I wanted to I wanted to build a fat bagger with big sloped fat bags and 16-inch ape hangers, and I wanted to have a cool sound system and all that jazz. So I figured I could buy it cheap, wrecked, and put all the pieces and parts on there that I wanted, and I'd have the bike I wanted, which was great until I went to ride it the first time, and it was miserable. It had Vance & Hines super radius exhaust on it, so for whatever reason, oh, traffic jam. Had the sun in my eyes. Oh, yeah. Somebody's either a wreck or somebody's pulled over down here, and everybody wants to look and stare. So where was I? Oh yeah, so I went and rode it, and then like I said, I put those Vance & Hines super radius pipes on there. So every time I went to ride it, and make a right-hand turn, those dang pipes would scrape. It's terrible. Wasn't expecting it the first time, and I've scraped my pegs on different bikes, and I've scraped the floorboards on different bikes, and I mean, I pretty much know how far I can lean the bike, and I was not leaned very far at all, and those pipes scraped, and I was like, what the hell? Scared the crap out of me. So ended up listing that bike for sale. While that one was for sale, I found Dirtybike, and I did not intend on finding this bike. I walked into the dealership and seen this bike sitting here. So it is a 2020 Road Glide Special Eagle Eye Edition, and it's a bright, some say green, some say yellow, but it's Eagle Eye yellow is the color, and beautiful color, beautiful graphics, and fell in love with it. So at the time, some of the dealerships in the US was offering, the 131s had just come out. This was right before everything shut down with COVID, and a couple of dealerships in the US were offering free 131 kits, just the kit, with the purchase of a 2020 Road Glide. My local dealership was not making that offer, so when I tried to talk to them about making that offer, Knoxville Harley Davidson on Clinton Highway didn't want to make it. Smoky Mountain Harley Davidson didn't want to make it. I called Moonshine Harley Davidson. They offered to do a similar deal where they would build me one of their 124 cubic inch engines, and they promised it, it would make all kinds of great power and so on and so forth. But I wanted the Eagle Eye. I wanted that paint scheme, and that was one thing that they weren't willing to work with me on, none of the dealerships, because the Eagle Eye at that point was, I mean, there was only 900 of them supposed to be made, and I would love to find out if all 900 got made, because I've heard both ways, that it didn't and that they did because of COVID, because COVID shut down manufacturing mid-year that year, and supposedly not all the Eagle Eyes got produced. I don't know how much truth there is to that. If any of y'all know the answer to that question, I'd love to know. I'd love to know how you know, so please leave it in the comments. That would be great. There is a Harley Davidson Eagle Eye page on Facebook that once upon a time I belonged to, but I don't have Facebook anymore. Speaking of which, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok, Dirtybike Mike. Anyway, the paint scheme was what I fell in love with. The 131, I was able to finally talk to Bootlegger Harley Davidson, which is a sister store of Knoxville Harley Davidson. It's out on Lovell Road. The salesperson, Tony, told me that they would be willing to make a deal, that I needed to come in and have a conversation. So I did, and they offered to sell me this bike, which was sitting over on Clinton Highway at that dealership. They offered to sell me this bike and get me the 131 kit, but that I would have to pay for installation and all that jazz and everything else. So what ended up eventually happening, we're going to fast forward this story a little bit, is I ended up having the 131 installed, but I did a few changes, and I went with Thunderheader exhaust. I went with a Jim's cam instead of the Screaming Eagle cam. I went with a pretty heavy breather and a bunch of other stuff. I've upgraded the floorboards. I've got a few things that I want to upgrade, some of which I've already got, but I'm waiting to have them installed to where I get some other things. So that brings us to the present, right? So where to from here? Well, this is my channel, and what I'm really wanting to do is basically just take y'all with me everywhere I go. I enjoy riding, I enjoy doing all of these things, and yeah, you know, everybody's got a YouTube channel these days. So what I would really want is for y'all to come with me on my trips. I plan on doing some moto vlogging, plan on doing some gear reviews. Would like to definitely get a podcast started. What direction to go with the podcast, I'm not 100% positive yet. It will definitely be associated with this, with me, with Dirtybike, but you know, how do we want to go about it? What do we want to do? What do we want to talk about? Who do we want to interview? I still have a day job. I've done a few things in life. Currently I'm a sheriff's deputy and plan on staying with that for as long as I can see in the future. The love that I have for riding, it's one of those things, it's a lot of y'all can understand this. I mean, and I've used different reels and different sounds in the reels to kind of share how that feels, but the best one I can remember is, you know, the helmet hears your stories in your head. You say and you think all of these things while you've got your helmet on, and it's calming. And that's what I want other people to experience. I travel on the bike. I go to motorcycle rallies. I enjoy the things that Two Wheels has to offer. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be on a Harley Davidson, because I've got something in the works right now and it's not a Harley Davidson. That don't mean I'm getting rid of my Harley Davidson. It's just going to be added to the garage. Two Wheels is just, you know, riding motorcycles is just what the doctor orders sometimes. That it gives you a feeling of freedom that other people find other ways. You know, some people go to the drag strip in their car, and for that quarter mile, they're free. And then they do it all over again the next weekend. Some people go hunting. They find the freedom in the woods. I get that. I've been there. I still go there from time to time. Nothing beats the feeling of on a motorcycle with your knees in the breeze, though. And you know, so many things happened during COVID. So many people found different ways to have these adventures and to do the things that they wanted to do to enjoy life. I mean, it was like they got back in touch with themselves on the things that they wanted out of life, and that was such a good, that was like one of the few good things that came from all of that, was that we wanted to have life again. People realized they were working their asses off and they didn't have any enjoyment in their life to appreciate. I think that's one reason we're having such a problem right now in the workforce, is you've got these places that still expect to have the same type of employee. Well, I'm sorry. If you're the same type of boss that you were prior to COVID, it ain't gonna work. We ain't gonna put up with it. We don't want to. We don't have to. There's always a job out there that pays the same or better. And if it's less hassle, less drama, and it's not any fun, and you got to deal with a grumpy manager or a grumpy boss, then go do something else. Love what you do, or don't bother. But here's the thing. Get out somewhere. Get out on two wheels. Get out in your kayak. Take a walk. Take a hike. Go for a run. just get out and explore something. That's what it's all about. This life is about collecting memories. So get out and make some. I hope you come back here. I hope you fill me in on your adventures. Let me know where you're at. You know, you go for a hike, let me know in the comments. You go for a run, let me know. I mean, I'll tell you one thing I've noticed in some YouTubers here lately. Shade Tree Surgeon, Hurt Two Wheels. I've actually noticed a few others. Those are the two biggest names right now that I watch on a regular basis. That are doing this whole diet thing. They're putting it on YouTube. They're putting themselves out there. And you know, that can be tough, but they're doing it for the right reasons. They're doing it to extend their life, to better their health, so that they can get out there more often and have those experiences. They're going to get out, they're going to explore something, they're going to enjoy life for as long as they possibly can, and I don't follow anybody for that. Oh, there's another nice little saying I heard the other day. And it was, see if I can say it right, and I have no idea who said it, but we have two lives. The second one starts when we realize, no, that ain't right, I'm gonna butcher that. Something like, we've got two lives. The second one starts when we realize we've only got one. It's something like that. Put that in the comments if you know it. I'll probably have to go find that reel somewhere later, because I heard it, I think today. But I've told y'all a few little plans. I've told you about myself. Like I said, I still got a day job. I got the kiddos. Go to motorcycle rallies. Come along for the ride. Hit subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. I know this was a short video. It's just a little bit about me, telling you who I am. But if you don't care, join my Instagram, my TikTok. Just keep your eye open for any, you know, future content. I'm shooting for every Sunday we load a video, and daily I do shorts. I'm still getting better at the editing, still getting better at figuring out all this stuff. I am not the most techno savvy guy here, but I'm trying. So I can't speak. Show some support. Give me a subscribe. And just comment. Tell me what you think. I appreciate y'all joining me. Hope to see you again soon. Get out, explore something. Have a good night, YouTube.